So I thought it was about time that I did a check-in. And the check-in of my reading is not just for you, it's definitely for me. Welcome back to Reading Sprints and Chai Sips. I am your girl, Sasha Bonay, and I thought it was about time that I just did a check-in of one, my goals, and some numbers that I found through utilizing the spreadsheet that I use for my reading from day to day, month to month, week to week. And I thought the numbers part would be fun to go over with you all, but in all honesty, I just thought they were fun in general. So let's get into my goals first, and then we'll get into the numbers. So my 2026 reading goals, we'll just go through them one by one, and I'll tell you how far I've gotten and what I've achieved from them, and then we'll move into the numbers. So my first reading goal is reading 100 books off of my own physical TBR, and as of now, in May, I've read 108 of my own physical TBR. Or when I say read, let's go there. When I say read, the meaning of read here means I've actually read them from cover to cover, or I've DNF'd them and or unhauled them, given them away, however you want to put it, sold them, whatever. But they're no longer like I attempted. I read or I attempted to read and DNF'd. So 108 books have come off of my TBR so far, and it's only May, and I love that for me. So my second goal was to go to the library at least once a month. We have 12 months in a year. Once a month means at the minimum 12 times. So far, I've done that every single month. If I'm not mistaken, February was the month I was not allowed to go to the library because it was closed for whatever reason. It's like my local library literally shut down. I could have gone to another one, but I don't like that. I like my own library. I like where things are in my own library, so that's what I chose to do. And so because that is not my fault, it's a default check for February. But other than that, yes, I have gone to the library every single month. Now, my official reading goal on Goodreads is 100 books. That's it. Now, did I shoot low for that? Kind of. But in 2024, seeing as I read over 400 books, I was burnt out. And then last year, I read over 200 books. And I really struggled, and it's because I was burnt out from the year prior. So in order to not make that a thing for me this year, I aimed for 100 even, because I know that's something I can achieve, being as 2 years ago I read up to 400 books, but 100 was achievable for me. And now we're in May, and I read about 140 something, which is great. That means that I'm not rushing through books. That means that I'm not reading more than I can take on. I'm reading and I'm DNFing at a great pace for me. Now, my next goal was to read or finish 12 series that I've started in previous years. And that is kind of difficult for me. If you don't know, I have a series on my channel called A Serial Unfinisher of Series, because that's what I am. I will start a series with no problem. But after book one, sometimes even book two, those series go to the wayside because I just start them. I'm not here to finish them for the most part, but I'm trying to get better in that. Last year I was able to finish whatever goal I set up for last year. I can't remember what it was, but I was able to finish my goal for finishing a certain amount of series. This year it's taking me a while for series that I started in previous years, because I am finishing series that I've started this year. Previous years, not so much. I believe I finished about 6. So I'm halfway there. By the end of 2026, I do project that I will have finished 12 series. Now, it might just be 12 and no more than that, and I'm okay with that. Now, my next goal was to read 6 books by 6 new to me Black authors, and I've done that in spades. So I'll put on the screen some of the authors and some of the books that I've read by Black authors that were new to me this year, and I hope that helps. You can also see it in different videos that I post and in my wrap-ups where I will put new to me on the screen when I'm wrapping up. So if you don't know who's new to me, if I just discovered them or if I'm rereading, you'll know in those. But yeah, I've done that. I've accomplished that really early this year. So another one of my goals was to read outside of the house more because I do read at home. Most people do. But I have been doing that. I also read at work, where I intern at, and I read at the cafes that I go to. I'm I'm reading outside. Even on my front porch, I am reading outside and I am enjoying it. To enjoy reading, not just at home, but in other places that I enjoy, I'm having fun with that. So, another one of my goals was to make sure that I'm not overdoing it with consuming, being an overconsumption consumer when it comes to my book boxes because I can get out of hand. And I don't believe in overconsumption of books, but I do believe in overly spending money for books that I do not have space for, right? So I've limited myself to no more than 2 books from each of the book boxes that I currently pay my own hard-earned money for. So that's Book of the Month, Aardvark. I am no longer getting books from Amor, but I wasn't spending my own money on those. Those were given to me by the book box themselves, but I am no longer with them, so I'm not getting books from them. And I just started 2 new book boxes, but those are 1 book a month automatically. So the only ones that I really have to worry about are Book of the Month and Aardvark. And I'm doing so good with those that sometimes if I don't see something that I like, I am skipping for the month. And I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't need to have a book from Book of the Month or Aardvark every single month. But I also do have a collection of Book of the Months and Aardvarks that I can be reading, which I have been doing really great with. So those Stuff Your Kindle times where authors give away their books for free on Kindle and you can stuff your Kindle with them. My goal for 2026 was to read 10 of those that I now own that are not rented to me by Kindle. And I've read 4. I need to catch up because I haven't been on my Kindle as much as I used to. And that's why, as much as I was at least in the beginning of the year. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to do well with that. Hopefully by the end of the year, I will have read 6 more. I don't know if I will, but I'm trying to make these goals a priority, these reading goals my priority so that I can accomplish them, but I'm not in a rush, if that makes sense. And DNFing books is never a problem for me. What is a problem, and I've said this in previous years, is sometimes I'm nosy enough and inquisitive enough to know how a book ends. So I won't DNF it even though I'm not having a good time with the book. And so I'll read to the end and be pissed off. Those are the books I think I need to learn how to just say no, because I know it's going to get a bad rating and I'm just going to piss myself off more by finishing it and wasting my time. Those are the books I need to DNF more. But DNFing is never a problem of mine, but that is a problem of mine. So now that we've gone over my goals and you know what I'm working on, what I've accomplished, and what the goals are, if you haven't watched my beginning of the year goals video, now you know what my goals are for the rest of this year. But we can get to the numbers. We're talking about the numbers. So here's some numbers I thought would be interesting to know. So the number of books that I've read, DNF'd, or unhauled this year, all of this number is in that read, DNF'd, and unhauled altogether. It's 172. That's a lot. And I love that for me. So I've actually read and I've attempted to read 172 books. I'm not mad at it. So the number of pages that I have read is 32,533 pages. I don't know if that's a lot or if it's a little bit for the number of books that I have read and attempted to read, so I don't know, but that's the number. Now, my overall average rating right now that I'm sitting with myself as a reader and rater of books is a 3.6. That for me is a great place because 3.5 is average. Don't I wish that I was reading every book was a 5-star? No, not really. because I'm having a good time with my 4-star books. I'm having a good time with my 3.5 books. The books that I'm not having a good time with usually are my 3 and lower rated books, because a 3 is just like it was a book. It was fine, right? But a 3.5 and higher, I'm having a good enough time to where I wouldn't mind recommending those books to others. So 3.6, I'm happy with. So the month that I've read the most books in so far, because we're only in May, so this is not of the whole year, this is only up until this point, is March. And in March, I read or attempted to read 46 books. And that is a lot. For 1 month, it is a lot. Usually my number is around 30. So I would say 25 to 35, right? That's my space with a good month, with a very good month. 46 is above and beyond, and no month yet has touched that. So I might have been at a peak in that month. Don't ask me why, because I can't remember. So the number of books that I've officially DNF'd this year is 25. 25 books that I've DNF'd, that I've opened, I've attempted to read and said no and never got to the end of them. 25 books. And I don't think that's a lot. To you, that might be a lot, but for a person who reads a lot, I don't think that's a lot of books. It just means that I know exactly what I want to finish when I open a book, and those 25 books just was not it. So a goal of mine last year was to reread books, and that's what I keep books on my shelves for that I've enjoyed, is the rereadability that I feel that they have, because I have finished books and enjoyed them well enough then, but I knew for a fact when I finished it, this is a book that I will never return to for whatever reason. And the books that I have behind me, I am a collector of books, but I am also a rereader of books. And I know a lot of people do not reread books, but I do. So the number of books that I've read this year so far is 5. That's a lot compared to all the books that I'm just reading normally. 5 books that I've picked up and reread. So the number of new to me authors for this year so far is 80. I've read 80 new to me authors. And out of that new to me authors, 6 or more was my goal for the year 2026, and I've surpassed that. So I'm reading new to me authors that are Black, 80 altogether new. Now, this is one of the most interesting pieces, because I do love knowing the number of authors that I read and who are the ones that I return to repeatedly, not to reread their books per se, but just authors that I gravitate towards more. So my top 5 most rated authors so far this year is B. Love with 7 books. I've read 7 of her books this year. Casey Mills with 6. Kimberly Brown with 5. Sherelle Green with 5. And Aisha Bree with 4. Those are all Black authors. Indie and some also do traditionally published work. Those are my top read authors for this year. I'm not mad at it. And only, let's see, I know for a reason why I've been reading more Casey Mills and Kimberly Brown is because they will be at Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses this year. This will be my 3rd year going to Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses. I am also shocked. But I was making sure that I knew what they had in their catalogs so that I know what I want to pre-order or regularly order when I get there. So I've been reading more into their catalogs, and I'm having a great time with all of these authors, but those in particular are the reasons why I know their numbers are growing in what I'm reading this year. If you can't hear it, I am a little stuffy in the nose. My bad. Now, here's what I thought was also interesting. My most listened to narrators this year so far. So Wesley Chabon, obviously she's the GOAT, with 9. Miles Washington with 7. He's also good for the ears. Winston James with 6. He's also good for the ears. Ademrele Ojo with 4. I love her voice. And Andrew Iden with 4 as well. And I was just like, whoa, I am one of those people. I love a good in tandem read, so physical book or ebook with an audiobook. I love it. And I am also an audiobook girl, so I will get in my car and drive to internship listening to an audiobook. When I get off, get in my car, I'm listening to an audiobook. So I don't mind an audiobook alone, but I am an in tandem reader. So I just like to know, who am I listening to in my earballs? Who can I um recommend to you is a good audiobook narrator to listen to, and these are ones that I find myself always listening to and enjoying, because if your audiobook does not have the right narrators, it can make the story not good. It can make the dialogue not good, not entertaining, not enjoyable, difficult to listen to. Mouth sounds are a big thing. Background sounds are a big thing. So if I hear your dog barking in the background and he's not a part of the show, ma'am or sir, what's going on? But these are narrators. Why do I say narrators? These are narrators. I don't know where I get that from, but these are narrators that I find myself listening to more than others. And finally, the month with the highest average rating so far is May. This month that we're currently in, with a 3.72. I do know that the more you read, the lower your average tends to get. The less you read, the higher your average is. And we all know why that's so, because you cannot predict every single book to be a good one. But if you're cautious in your reading, if you're only picking books that you know you will like and staying within your own comfort zone, you're bound to read books that will have better turnout for you, right? So I am an all around reader. I read everything and I don't mind reading everything, because I like to extend myself. I also like to be outside of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is romance, and it always will be. But I love thrillers and mysteries and horror sometimes does not stick. Thrillers sometimes are not thrilling. Romance sometimes is not good, but I don't mind trying them all. And even books that I know are not going to be maybe the best thing I've ever read, I don't mind trying it. Sometimes when you least expect it, a book will surprise you. So we've come to the end of the video. Let me know if any of my numbers surprise you, and is this the type of video you actually like to hear when it comes to the numbers? I know a lot of people like numbers. Books and Lala, Kayla, she does a lot of numbers videos, and I'm not as extensive as her with my numbers. However, I do like graphs and things like that. I'm not making them though. I think she actually makes them. My spreadsheet that I use makes the graphs and tracks the numbers for me, so I don't have to do anything but put the information in. Those are the kind of numbers those are the kind of numbers I like. So let me know if any of the narrators I listen to are your favorites as well. Let me know if any of the authors that I mentioned as the most read authors that I've read this year so far are authors you know of or have read from. Let me know some of your numbers down below, and I will definitely see you in the next one. See you in the next one. Bye.